Desist from misinformation in Nigeria as fact checkers warn politicians. Wike will work for Tinubu, says Masari, as Obasanjo, Wike, Obi and others meet in London. This is Plus Politics. I am Mary Anacon. As the political campaign is about to flag off in September ahead of the 2023 general elections, the Nigerian Fact Checkers Coalition has appealed to Nigerian politicians to refrain from misinforming and disinforming. While warning politicians against disinformation and misleading statements, the group noted that false information could be detrimental to Nigeria's democracy. Well, joining us to discuss this is Comrade Odi. She's the General Secretary Alliance for Credible Elections. And also joining us is Ajao Olusina Tunde. He's a peace builder. He's also a peacebuilding expert and a Rotary Peace Fellow. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, good evening.
Thank you, lady. All right, I'm going to start with you, Odi. It's very interesting that, when we're talking about disinformation or misinformation, one way or the other, the core of it is whether it would mar or it would break or it would, one way or the other, mold our future. Now, Nigeria has dealt with its fair share of, fake news, propaganda, and sometimes disinformation. And in the midst of that, too, the media sometimes gets, mixed up in all of that. But let's start by looking at the situation that we have now. The season is that of, campaigns, and there's going to be a lot of stories that sometimes don't have backing. They look very, very convincing, but then at the core of it is disinformation. How well have we done as a country to deal with the issue of propaganda, disinformation, and misinformation?
Misinformation and disinformation have been in our approach over the years by the civil society organization like CDD and others have actually been working so hard to ensure that the problem is minimized to a very low level. Though you can't completely eliminate misinformation and propaganda, it's part of the politics. So what is important is that if people are aware and know what is the true position. And that's what the civil society people are doing, educating people that when you see this kind of information that has no link to main stories or popular media sources, you should know, you should cross-check before you share such information. Misinformation and fake news were very loud in year 2000, leading to year 2015 general elections. It's just because the government in power then was not as aggressive as the one in power now. Actually, they are the ones who introduced so many fake news. The current APC in power in year 2014 and 15. So they were churning out fake news and misinformation, everything they needed to do to win the elections. Now they won and they wanted to work on it and deal with it. But even at that, they are still bringing up fake news. As we have done that, we have given, and they won't give you a link to go and verify, So what the civil society organizations are doing is when they say this is what we've done, they have to fact check it and say, yeah, this is not true. So that, and people are beginning to be aware. Before they would just take it that is the truth. Now people are beginning to know that most of the information coming from social media, from the government angle, are not really fake news, are not really news, they are fake. So people are beginning to say, this is fake. And you have to cross-check to even prove that it's real. So but there is more work to be done, and the work is in the area of uh, capacity building and also uh, sustained campaign to see that people are aware and also people know how to verify it by themselves. That's what the next level of our campaign. It's not going to be one person or NGOs doing it. We have to empower the citizenry to everybody to fact check it. Once there is news, because when you see fake news, it's easy to know that this is fake news. So everybody should be empowered to always check what is coming out from social media, from the government angle, whether it's true, even from the mainstream media houses, both print and electronic. At times, fake news come out from there. So we have to educate people. We have to build capacity of people, every citizen, through jingles, through campaigns, through many areas to know that every news you see, you have to fact check and see whether it's real or fake, whether it's coming from government or from the social media.
Okay.
Because fake news also come from the government. It's not only the social media that
All right.
produces fake news.
Let me come to you, Ajao. Disinformation, misinformation. There's always a thin line between what's real and what's not real, or a semblance of the truth with some embellishments, which could lead to all kinds of things. But you're a peace builder, you're a Rotary Peace Fellow. And I always, when I talk about, peace or building peace, I always, make reference to something that happened in Rwanda. It was a piece of disinformation that caused the genocide that claimed 1 million+ lives. Now, we all, like I said in my opening, the media is always sometimes caught in the midst of all of this. Sometimes we're very in a hurry to put out these stories, and half the time there's not enough time to fact check these stories. And most of the time we see a lot of, rebuttals or, people backtracking to say, well, this story was not confirmed, etc., etc. How can we as Nigerians, because again, violence is also at the core of our elections and we're all striving for free, fair and credible elections. How can we deal with this issue of disinformation, misinformation by fact checking and not just letting it be the job of just the group of fact checkers, but all of us being aware and standing on our toes when stories like this drop on our laps?
Okay, thank you very much. Just as the speaker has said, information is very important to every society. Information is power. And the use of internet has made it possible for people to access information. And this has made the spread of false information to be also very easy because everybody now have access to internet. You can be in your house and begin to share information that are not real. So coming to the question of disinformation and misinformation, the two are normally used interchangeably, though there are some similarity, yet there are differences between the two. Misinformation is a false information that is being spread. It can be spread innocently by someone that does not have any destructive intent in spreading such information. Whereas disinformation, the owner spreading it is already aware. They have intention. They have motive. What they want to achieve by spreading that false information. So, as for us, Nigeria, I believe the media house they have a very important role to play in ensuring that the information that are coming out to the public, they are the truth, they are facts, and not just fake news or disinformation. The media house have to fact check the sources of the information, the authority, They should not just be that in a hurry to report because they want to be the first to report. Because that's the problem with a lot of media houses in Nigeria. You want to be the first to report, to capture, breaking news. Sometimes breaking news, if you don't take your time to fact check the information, you end up dishing out a wrong information to the society. And fake news can trigger up, can set a community on fire. Because fake news can it can inform our opinions, and our opinions can inform our actions. So where there's a fake information, where there's a fake news, you can imagine the kind of opinion that will be formed in the heart of the people and the kind of actions that people will end up carrying out. So the media need to play very important role in fact checking the sources of information, the authority, and how genuine those information are. Even the public, not just the media. You say every one of us, it's everybody's business. Before you share any information, you need to fact check it. Is this thing really? Is it true? Is it correct? And what is the motive of this kind of information? Sometimes we just see something on social media and we want to pass it to somebody. You won't take your time. What is the motive behind sharing of this information? Is it to cause chaos, to cause violence in the society, to cause hatred, or to cause disunity in the society? So every individual in the society have a key role to play in ensuring that the information that they are sharing, they are disseminating to others, they are genuine, they are fact, they are not fake news because somebody just send it to you, you are in a fast to send it to others. No, I've received a lot of information, but I don't share them because I know that these are fake news, just like what the first speaker said. It's very easy for you to know what the fake news, if you can, fact check the sources and the motive and the authority behind those information. So I think it's everybody's rules in Nigeria to ensure that information that are being passed into the public, they are genuine and they are correct.
Let me just come in there. You say it's easy for you to spot this news or information that's not proper. And then, of course, it's second nature for you to want to probe further to be sure that this is what it is. But then now people get access to information not necessarily from the media, like Umar said. People have access to social media. People have access to WhatsApp. There's a lot of messaging that comes from those portals. And sometimes even our politicians knowingly put out some of this information on their social media handles. And of course, people take it. They take it hook, line, and sinker. But then for somebody like you and I, we would want to probe further. What's the percentage of those of us who are like you and me who probe that information as compared to those who are, gullible enough to take it? And like you said earlier on, wrong information can inform an action. It can, inform a reaction that somewhat can cause problem or also work, against a person or a group of people. So how do we deal with that larger majority that does not have that second nature of fact-checking?
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is where the role of National Orientation Agency, sensitization, and you need to sensitize the public that it's not every information that you get through social media. As I said earlier on, social media has made it very easy for people to access information, and it's also make it very easy to spread false information. So when you receive or you access to an information that you are not sure whether it is real or it is fake, then you don't need to share that same information. You don't need to spread it. You need to wait and try and cross-check it, fact-check it, if it is actually true. Because by spreading it, you are making more people to be more gullible, to be more wrongly informed, and they are making wrong decisions that will affect their actions, as you said. So it is the duty of the government, it is the duty of the civil society to orientate the society so that they don't just spread any information, they don't just share any information anyhow. Whatever information they have access to, they need to try and process it. Is it fake? Is it real? or what is the intention of even this kind of information? Even by spreading it, what is it going to what effect is it going to make in the society? So it is the duty of the government, the civil society, and every one of us to orientate one another to carry out sensitization about the role of information and the effect of disinformation and misinformation in the society.
Okay. Comrade, let me come back to you now. Let's look at the FOI. For example, a politician comes out and says, I've done this, this, and this. And the people within the state, I mean, he comes on the media and says, I've done this, I've done that. Take a look at this and that. But then the people in his state or in his constituency come out to say, well, this is false information. Who's benefited from it? Where are the facts? And so the media house and the politician, of course, are the ones who are to be held responsible. But again, a certain governor of a certain state brings his, billboard to Lagos and hoists it there and in Abuja, saying, this is how my state looks. These are the streets or the roads that I've created. But when you get down to that state, you see absolutely nothing on ground, nothing to prove. And sometimes certain monies are voted to do certain things. There is no money trail. Even when you have the FOI, sometimes it seems to prove powerless because you're still not given access to this information to ascertain if these monies were used for what it was supposed to be used for. Again, I'll take you to Brazil. I think in 2018, during the presidential election, Bolsonaro was reported to have won his election through WhatsApp by disinformation, doctored photos, and information that triggered people to want to vote for him. And Nigeria is about to go into 2023, where it's going to be a keenly contested election on all sides. How do we guard against this? Because again, like I said, WhatsApp seems to be a tool in the hands of all kinds of people. Comrade, can you hear me? You need to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
ICPC 2 years ago and last year, I've actually gone to check all the constituency projects in so many states in Nigeria and came out with a very bad verdict. There are so many of those projects that have been included in the Budget Act have not been executed, and some of them were that have been mobilized funds to, they were not actually done. So, and what is
Comrade, I think we're having connection issues with you there. We're going to try to get you on another line so that we can continue this conversation. But Ajao, back to you to continue from where the comrade stopped. The FOI is something that we're all proud of. Oh, we have that freedom of information, but can you get access to the information even with the FOI?
Can I? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, so what's the question again, please?
So we're talking about the FOI and politicians who make claims, but then when it comes down to it, sometimes you don't get access to the information even with the FOI. So why do we have the FOI if we can't still get access to information?
I think that's a big problem for now, because most organizations, they will want to cite the issue of confidentiality and classified information, that because this information is classified, you cannot have access to it. But when we are talking about freedom of information, every individual should have access to information. The freedom of information gives everyone the right, especially the media, to access any information without any restriction, without any limit. But you discover that most agencies, they will tell you that this is classified information. I think we still need to continue to lobby the government. We still need to continue to speak out and be demanding more, the way the media have been demanding for freedom of information. We need to raise the tempo again so that more access can be given. It should be free and fair. We should be able to access information without any restriction. So the media need to do more to lobby the government, to go through the National Assembly. Even though we have the freedom of information in place, but yet we cannot access it. It's of no use that we have that freedom of information when we cannot access the information. And I want to even tell us that freedom of information is not only the core of a healthy media. It is very important for a media organization to have access to information and also to have access to credible and factual information, so that society it will be able to strengthen the society, it will foster development, and it will also foster democratic structure in the society. So freedom of information is very important, is very key when we are talking. Election is coming out by next year. So how do we access information that the people will be able to trust the media? They'll be able to trust the politician. They'll be able to know what is happening in the society. We need to work on this. I think by doing more lobbying or do more campaign.
All right, finally, because I think we've lost Comrade Maldi, before we are able to get her back, maybe to put in her last word. You're a peace builder, you're a Rotary Peace Fellow, so you're an international peace ambassador. And we cannot have conversations like this, especially leading up to the elections, without talking about peace at the core of all of this. What collaborations are ongoing within Nigeria, whether between the peace fellows, whether between peace builders and the media, in collaboration with media and civil society, to make sure that we douse the tensions that could lead to more violence in the coming elections, knowing again that tempers are pretty high as we speak?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the work is going on the ground. And recently in Abuja, the Rotary Peace Fellow, they organized a program where they call all the different stakeholders, especially it has to do with the election 2023 election. So the Rotary Peace Fellow organized that program in collaboration with the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution. And the essence is to carry out sensitization throughout Nigeria to ensure that we have peaceful and credible election, so that to make people to know that violence cannot yield any positive result in the society. They cannot give us what we want as a nation. Nigeria has gone through a lot already. And this time around is not a time to begin to carry arms and begin to become violent in demanding for our rights. So the Peace Fellows and the Institute of Peace and Conflict, they're already working on carrying out sensitization. They have set up committee and a lot of members have joined already also to carry out sensitization across the country. They have raised peace builders at the grassroots level, at the community level, at the national and state level, so that they will carry out sensitization about the importance of peace. There is no development in any atmosphere of violence. Peace is a foundation for development. It's a foundation for credible democracy. So we are working on it, and we are working in collaboration with the government, not only the peace fellow alone, working with the government, working with the civil society, working with the security agency, so that we will ensure that we have credible and peaceful election come year 2023.
I want to say thank you very much, Ajao, for being part of this conversation. We also want to say thank you to Comrade Maldi, even though we lost her connection, but Comrade Maldi is the General Secretary Alliance for Credible Elections, and Ajao Olusina Tunde is a peace building expert and a Rotary Peace Fellow. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we go back to discussing speculations of Governor Nyesom Wike meeting with, of course, the APC, and the recently report of the meeting with former President Olusegun Obasanjo in London, and what this means in our electoral space. Stay with us.